Second Division Championship trophy, won in 1982 by Luton Town for the first time in their history. This video cassette not only commemorates that achievement, but also celebrates the manner of it, for it was a championship won with a style and flair that took the Second Division by storm.
And they're looking for the one long pass that can cause problems, and here's another one for White, who's onside and scores. White pushed Stein through, and that's a goal for Luton.
Lindsay Smith to Cartwright. Oh, it's a bad one, straight to Turner. There's a goal. Beaten by Goodyear. Here come Luton again. Antic. To Hill. That's a good cross towards Stein.
Some of the 86 league goals scored by Luton on the way to the Second Division title. A title they won by a clear 8 points, having assured themselves of promotion by a massive 18-point margin. A truly historic season. Before that, Luton had managed only occasional entries into the history books. Here's one man who made them famous, Joe Payne, who set a league scoring record, 10 goals in a single match against Bristol Rovers, Easter 1937. The Luton team of the 50s is also remembered with affection. Names like Sid Owen, Ron Bainham, George Cummins and Gordon Turner took them to the First Division in 1955. Then in 1959, Luton's first chance of a major trophy. This is the FA Cup semi-final with Norwich, and the Luton victory takes them to Wembley for the very first time. But it was an unhappy turning point for Luton. Despite a goal by David Pacey, a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Nottingham Forest started a run which, in 5 years, dropped them right down to Division 4. But the recovery was as dramatic as the slump. By 1970, they were back in Division 2 and had produced another goal scorer in the Joe Payne mould.
MacDonald taking up a place on the far post. Good work by John Ryan. MacDonald.
1974, and Luton became the first team to drop from the first to the fourth and then climb right back up again.
And a good ball to John Ryan. What a good drive. Anderson.
But once again, those celebrations were short-lived, the relegation coming just the next season. But let's look back briefly on those dark days in Division 4. This is the class of 1965, but in this lineup, the seeds of the modern success. For the young right winger is David Pleat, Luton manager in the spectacular promotion season of 1981-82. Well, David, this promotion season provides quite a contrast with those Fourth Division days.
Yes, there were difficult times. There was a general malaise in the club. No one seemed particularly interested in the business of winning football matches. There was a lot of experienced players on their last legs. And generally speaking, to be frank, it was rather run down.
So what did you see as your task and the potential of the club when you took over as manager in 1978?
Well, we had, once again, we had some ageing players, and I saw an opportunity to make 1 or 2 changes and get young, ambitious players with ability into the club. And obviously it would take time, and we sailed fairly close to the wind early days. We just avoided relegation in the first full year, but the dividends have been well rewarded since.
And in the last couple of seasons, you've come close to promotion twice.
Yes, almost so close, really, almost heartbreaking. Last year, I think, in the penultimate game, we went to Swansea and drew in a wonderful game. And then in the last game, we had to win by 3 goals, which we did. But Swansea also won away at Preston. And it was a wonderful experience, but a very sad day. And the previous year also, we were very, very close. Leicester, Birmingham and Sunderland in the end were the winners that got into the First Division, but we felt that we'd done our part, and maybe last season we were then ready to get the tremendous acclaim that we finally got.
Yes, indeed, this season you did make it, and very emphatically so too. Let's look in detail at how promotion was achieved in 1982. This is the local derby match with Watford at Kenilworth Road on September the 26th. Watford in second place, Luton chasing hard a fourth. But it's Luton who dominate a really remarkable first half.
White with the space, gets it back to Lily Fuccillo. It's a great drive. Oh, we had a superb view of that, and that was a marvellous save too. Fuccillo's left foot, that we haven't seen for a year or two because of his 2 broken legs. Really working well. That's a massive drive and an excellent save by Steve Sherwood. Here's Donaghy. Stein with Jacket, and White almost was onto that one before Sims controlled it. Handball. Watford busy everywhere, but having to strain a bit now to hold on to Luton. Rice coming in and clattering that one, but it's picked up by Moss against Bolton. It's past him. Moss still there. No, taken away by Bolton, and then Blissett. Aizelwood. Horton supporting. Horton still with it. Another great save by Steve Sherwood. We seem to see that one a little bit later. They're really pumping them in now. Nobody seemed to come to him, which is surprising for Watford because they're working so hard. So he lets fly. And then Sherwood takes off late. But does the trick. And it's a corner. Ricky Hill on the near post. Up goes Saxby. It's put out again by Sims. Mal Donaghy gets onto the near post this time. Saxby on the far post, and the sun could be a problem for both sides. Horton. Ricky Hill competing here. Gets it out to Moss. Does well. Moss down the line and pulled down. A whistle, a penalty. Linesman Peter North from Braintree gave the signal. The flag across the chest, and the referee from Gloucestershire points to the penalty spot. Well, nice little run by Moss. Down he came, the referee paused, then he pointed to the spot on the linesman's signal, and it's David Moss from the penalty spot. 1-0 to Luton, the first for David Moss this season. Well, normally David Moss, last season anyhow, put them to the right of the goalkeeper without exception. This time, new season, new technique, and it's in. So 1-0 to Luton, 34 minutes gone. David Moss, joint leading scorer last season, his first goal of this new campaign. Blissett comes down. Stevens into Horton. Forward for White, that's a better ball. Sims is with him. Ricky Hill. Horton supporting again. Into Stein. Nicely played, first time ball. Stein down to the line, he goes tumbling. Another penalty. This time it's Bolton who's the culprit. Well, Mr. Stevens didn't take long to decide that one. Stein turns and goes for the line. Bolton tries to wriggle inside him, doesn't manage it. Down goes his man, and another penalty. Once more, David Moss. Change of side, but the same result. David Moss again, 2-0 to Luton. That's pure confidence there. And suddenly things are collapsing for Watford. Two tackles in their penalty area they would describe as fairly gentle. Two penalties, and the game has suddenly slipped away from them, thanks to David Moss's accuracy. Good jump by Sims. Push back. Ricky Hill, a nice turn away from Jacket. In for Brian Stein, he's there. Beautifully taken. And a great goal. Well, they left a little space for Ricky Hill. He powers forward, and then he sets up Stein, and they've left him too much room. A little target, he hits it very, very well. And suddenly, Watford are right out of things with 2 minutes to go before half-time. It's 3-0 to Luton, and for Brian Stein, his second of the season. And it's O'Callaghan who's had a very quiet time in the first half. Up against Fuccillo. Aizelwood battling. Comes to Moss, quickly using it. Moss looking for somebody on the right, there's nobody there. White. Stein. Oh, they're really full of confidence here. Ricky Hill. Trying to bobble it up and go alone. Stein, and then their error. And this time it was Sims valiantly to block it. Otherwise that would have been number 4. Watford are in pieces at the back at the moment. So surprising, considering the way they played in the first half an hour. And here comes Stevens. They're all having a go here. Luton trying to make amends for the 2 games here at home where things didn't go well for them. Against Sheffield Wednesday and against Cardiff. They're powering forward in numbers. Stevens set up for this one. And Sherwood happy to see that over. Good interception by Donaghy. Fuccillo, good play, getting away from Sims and setting up Moss. Players queuing up here, near post and far post. Stein. Beautifully taken. A perfect cross. And Lily Fuccillo getting some help there. Lovely ball to David Moss, and good running by Luton. They've got a man on the far post and a man coming to the near post. That's Stein, and that's number 4.
Well, that was a performance which must have convinced you that the team were really capable of something special.
Yes, there's a lot of tension, a local derby, and much publicity beforehand. But we rode all the problems. We played some very efficient football, fast attacking football in the first half, and scored a wonderful 4th goal just after half-time to make the scoreline 4-0 at that stage. And it was really a game that psychologically set us up for the season. Brian Horton was brought from Brighton, already successful in promotion battles with that club. His cool, calm and authoritative leadership on and off the field was vital to our success. Here we see Aizelwood picking up a ball against Watford and playing a short ball in. Brian makes rapid progress towards the edge of the box and as positively as ever cracks a right-foot shot which is brilliantly saved by the Watford goalkeeper. Here, despite Watford's defence in depth, we keep on the pressure. As the ball comes out, Horton tries a shot, and eventually Ricky Hill plays a nice little ball out to David Moss, our dangerous front player. Here, David Moss shows a lot of moral courage to get at the defenders, get in the box. Despite the conglomeration of defenders in the box there, David's won us another penalty with his ability to attack players and his skill to go past them. David Moss, calm and as clinical as ever, steps up. Doesn't matter to David whether there's 10 or 10,000 in the stadium. He puts those shots away, shows very little emotion, but notice the first man over is the captain, the leader, Brian Horton, and Luton have scored another goal. Here we see another example of Luton's ability to break quickly from defensive positions. Donaghy pushes a ball into there, Hill, who turns quickly, goes at pace past the defender and plays a magnificent left-foot reverse ball to Stein, who hammers a ferocious shot into the corner of the net. A tremendous example of breaking from A to B quickly. Here we see an example of the defenders' willingness to support the forwards in attacking positions. Horton here has a throw in which Stein cleverly shields, and from nowhere Stevens comes up with a ferocious drive just over the top of the bar. Kirk Stevens, bought from Nuneaton, who I had previously as a player, has been a splendid example with his determination, clever support running and accurate passing. Another magnificent goal, which is reminiscent of so many we scored last season, was when Fuccillo picked the ball up and played an early pass into Moss's path. Moss looks up, plays a wonderful little cross, and Stein, coming across the 6-yard box, heads delightfully home past the outstretched hands of the Watford goalkeeper. Here we see it, a right foot pass. Moss comes onto it, doesn't panic, steadies himself first, looks up, chips superbly well, and there's Stein rising beautifully and thumping the ball into the top of the net. A wonderful goal.
The kind of football we'll be seeing more of later as we relive the climax to the promotion season. A climax which produced quite a few goals to go up on the Kenilworth Road scoreboard. A scoreboard provided with the important help of sponsors Wallspan Bedrooms.
The dream has come true on the pitch at Kenilworth Road, and Wallspan Bedrooms congratulate Luton Town as they enter the big league and look forward to another happy and successful season promoting the club in the First Division. So let's take a break from the action and look at another dream come true. Wallspan Bedrooms, designed for neatness and style, easy to fit at a price that's right, wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling with maximum use of space for storage. But before we look around the showroom, let's visit the factory where modern wall-span techniques produce the latest in bedroom design. Every component is quality controlled, ensuring a precision fit and a high standard finish in more than 50 styles and color combinations. The factory is working at peak performance, supplying the increasing demand. And within a few weeks, these fittings will have transformed old bedrooms into exciting modern designs. Just right for dreaming those glorious dreams of Luton winning on Cup final day. In the showroom, Jake Findlay and his wife Sandra have come to look around. You may notice they're about to start a family and are looking for their ideal home. Wallspan have a wide variety of fitted bedroom furniture, including this Georgian style, one of our most popular designs. The gilt trim adds elegance to the clean, attractive lines of the light, fresh room. The drawers open effortlessly on rollers, unique to Wallspan, whilst the doors on spacious cupboards open and close on self-closing hinges. Maximum use of space is a Wallspan hallmark. With Wallspan, you're given the individual touch. The fittings are tailored to your room's dimensions, to suit your needs and fancies. Everything matches, wasting no space and keeping your life clean and tidy. The Wallspan range is fitted free of charge and fully guaranteed for 12 months from the date of installation. Follow Jake and Sandra's footsteps by visiting one of our showrooms to discover how simple it is to install a Wallspan bedroom and move into the First Division.
Goalkeeper Jake Findlay there contemplating putting his feet up. And completely unconnected with that, Jake picked up a knee injury in February, which kept him out of our next bit of action. The match with Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough, in which Luton showed all the fighting qualities of a promotion team. We're into the last few seconds with Luton trailing 3-2.
Now then, could there be a late shock for Luton? Oh, it is! What a goal from Brian Stein! Right at the death, Luton get a point back, and it's Brian Stein with that cracking left-footed shot. His 7th goal of the season, and really there didn't look to be a great deal of danger on as Antic played the ball through, and Stein suddenly cracks it left-footed, low and away from Boulder. 3-3.
3-3, and this is how the top of the table looked after that. Luton with a 5-point lead, and the freezing winter weather had left them with matches in hand as well. Within a few days, Luton had drawn at second-place Watford. Then it was the turn of third-placed Oldham to visit Kenilworth Road.
And Donaghy with the clearance. And now Moss could get through here. White is on his left, so is Stein. And Stein is full for this. Overcomes Fuccillo. It's a penalty. Moss, who has scored 8 times with penalties this season, up against goalkeeper Peter McDonald. Oh, the goalkeeper was desperately unlucky. Centre-half Clive Goodyear is already up for David Moss's corner, but Mal Donaghy will make his way gently and perhaps unobtrusively into the box. Oh, into the net! Well, Moss will get the credit, but that must go down as an own goal.
Well, that win, part of a run of 12 games without defeat, an absolutely crucial period for the club. Do you recall having any problems as a manager then?
Not really. Confidence was sky high. We knew our abilities, what we could do, and I suppose only experienced the normal problems. Players having trouble with the mortgage repayments, or having problems with their wives or girlfriends, maybe both. No, but generally speaking, it was wonderfully smooth, and any problems that we did have, we were able to deal with.
Well, here's the kind of match that gives managers and coaches sleepless nights, but is absolutely marvellous entertainment for the fans. It's March the 20th, Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park, and the fans got their money's worth from the first half alone.
Everton, Smiley might get in!
Beautifully struck goal by Neil Smiley, and Palace go into the lead with 8.5 minutes gone.
Here's Horton for Luton. Steve White. He's beaten his man well there, beaten Billy Gilbert. Played back there, and Antic coming in! 1-1.
Only his 3rd goal of the season, and a very good reply by Luton. Steve White doing well here, having beaten Billy Gilbert. He pulled the ball back well, and I thought Brian Stein might be the one there, but it wasn't for him. And there's Antic sliding in, putting it wide of the keeper. 1-1. And now a chance. Oh, my word, it's Babbitt who's made it 2-1. Extraordinary. 2 goals inside a minute, and 3 goals in the first 13 minutes. Well, almost straight from the kick-off. There's Babbitt sliding the ball past Findlay, and Palace have restored their lead to 2-1. Now Gilbert. Well, we're in for quite a game with a lot of meaning to it as Palace strive to get away from the basement of the 2nd division, and Luton still have this big ambition to get away up into the 1st. Well, here's White. Brought down a penalty. This is unbelievable. So we could have 4 goals in the first 14 minutes if Luton can convert the penalty. Aizelwood going in on White. Clive White thought it was a penalty, and Luton now get the perfect chance to make it 2-2. Well, Moss is something of an expert. 12 goals this season, 9 of them from the penalty spot, and here he is with an opportunity of making it 2-2, which he takes. So with 14 minutes gone only, David Moss there makes it 2-2.
Stein trying to turn Wicks. Wicks physically trying to keep contact with him. He still found White, and then Smiley just flicks it away to Mabbitt. Langley beaten by Goodyear. Here come Luton again. Antic to Hill. That's a good cross towards Stein.
time Luton go into the lead after twice being a goal down. And a really good move, and it was Antic who was so positive. Ricky Hills, whose cross was perfection, and Stein doing a good job at the far post. Smiley. Just couldn't quite hold him off. Hilaire gets him back. Smiley going all the way, surely. Trying to get it back in again and forcing Findlay to the save. A situation that ran away from him just a little bit. At one point it looked so much more promising that in the end it turned out to be. Hilaire and Smiley, it was there when you thought maybe things would go his way, and in the end the angle was a little too difficult. Good play by Bolton. Oh, delicate touch again. Cannon finding Gilbert. As Palace come forward again, Hilaire. Oh, that was a rather crude challenge on Hilaire by Goodyear. Smiley now in possession for Palace. Now Murphy, still seeking this equalising goal. Giles on the far side in a bit of space there, got his header in well. And there! Smiley has made it 3-3.
A late equaliser at Crystal Palace denied us of the win we searched for, but in retrospect a draw was a sound result and left us in good heart for the run-in to the end of the season. Sound goalkeeping by Jake Findlay was a vital confidence booster to our defence. Here he glides up to collect the free kick despite surrounded by many bodies, giving heart and confidence to young centre-half Clive Goodyear, who in his first season in the Football League had the wonderful achievement of gaining a championship medal. The reflexes of Findlay are tested here as Smiley chips a short ball in and Langley's quick header is alertly saved by Findlay as he strives to get across on his line in sticky, difficult conditions. Another feature of our play is the calm and cool leadership of Donaghy at the back. Here we see him intercept the ball, nick it off the Crystal Palace defender as he comes tearing in and play it quickly and comfortably along the line to the feet of Wayne Turner. Donaghy's presence at free kicks and corners was an added boost to our success last year. Raddy Antic has been a model professional in the 2 seasons since his move from Zaragoza in Spain. After Steve White controls this difficult ball, turns past the defender, makes to the byline, and with an accuracy of left foot, passes it back, and Antic has made good ground to follow up and strike the ball firmly into the net. Here we have White again, moving, an impetuous tackle by the Crystal Palace defender. White is then playing the ball back, and there comes Antic with a determination and knowing full well that the goalkeeper was already moving towards his left.
Well, Luton were on a run that produced 18 goals in just 7 games. The fans loved it, and the press did too. This comment came from Dennis Law. Make no mistake about it, they're the most exciting team around at the moment, and they can do a great deal for the game. We'll move on now to the month of April. As you can see, things still very healthy at the top of the table. Luton have been almost continuously on top since the beginning of October. Now, April was the month to clinch both promotion and the championship. On the 12th came the visit of Norwich to Kenilworth Road. Luton set to do the double after winning at Carrow Road at Christmas. And we can go into the Luton dressing room just a few minutes before kick-off.
Pick up the tempo quick, Lily. You know what I mean? And if we do find, we don't know, if the boy Barham's buzzing, you know, we do know he's a bit quick, but I think he's straightforward. Right? But if he's looking to get a lot of balls, the David Moss to get in touch with Richard Money so that threatens the ball to Barham if he's pushed wide. And at the same time, Ricky, if he's got a bit of possession, Lily, and he's going at Richard Money, you make sure that we're forcing in the right way. Is that? Where's Richard? Yeah, no, we might want to force him across. He's a right footer. Yeah. Do you understand, Lily? Yeah, mate. Keep wide, mate. Yeah. Yes, make him go wide. That's it. Listen. Sit down, Clive. If there's one thing that we've tried to aim for today in an indirect way, looking at the performances over the last 4 or 5 weeks, which have picked up tremendously since at Barnsley it looked as though teams may muscle us out of it. You know, when we played at Barnsley, it looked to me as though if other teams played with the same approach at Barnsley, we could have a bad ending to the season where teams could muscle us out of it.
right? When the football now, where we've played for 2/3 of the season, where there's nothing been at stake because there hasn't been a promotion and relegation. In effect, until the last 15 games, when people all of a sudden realise they can go up or they might go down. And that's when the tension comes. And that's when teams who play you on your record say, hey, we've got to stop them playing. And that's what's happened in the last 5 weeks. I believe that. But now, we've got over that, whether it's through putting Wayne Turner in or getting Richard Money here. We've defended well. We've defended well over the last few weeks, and we've picked up the points. Now, with 6 games to go, caution favours the brave. No one's going to go up if they don't win games. We are going to go up. But what we've got to make sure of today is that when they've got the ball, we work equally as hard to get behind it. And when we get the ball, we break like shots. We break like shots, and the hallmark of our game, which is the good early passing, comes back. Because it hasn't been there, and it's got to come today.
John, here you are, John.
Well done, all the best.
All the best, cheers.
This time,
Well, keep going, John.
other time, this time, we'll get it together and do it.
All the best, lads.
Cheers, Steve.
Positive, Jane.
Come on, lads, let's go and do the business.
Come on, then.
This is never rain.
Ball.
For 45 minutes, David Pleat's fears of the tough opposition Norwich might provide looked justified. But in the second half, Luton produced their really best form. Once again, it's Brian Stein who breaks the deadlock. The opening here provided by a little confusion in the Norwich defence and great aggression from Steve White. A typical Brian Stein goal putting Luton ahead, but the next goal scorer was rather less familiar. Billy Jennings came on as sub at half-time, and this was his only first-team appearance, but he made the most of an opening provided by Ricky Hill. Billy Jennings' only appearance of the season and his only goal. So a 2-0 win strengthens the grip on the top of the table, and it's a result which brought great relief to Luton's chief coach, David Coates.
They attacked us better than any side has done this season at Kenilworth Road, and we were very fortunate to get away with not conceding a goal before half-time. We had injury problems, and had they scored first, which I think they deserved to do, they'd have very likely won the game. In the second half, we attacked them. Brian Stein scored with a magnificent volley, and then Ricky Hill made a wonderful pass to put Billy Jennings in for the second, and we were well worth that in the end. But again, both sides intent on attacking the other made it glorious for spectators.
Well, there was no more glorious game than the one that came 5 days later at Kenilworth Road against Newcastle. Amazingly, Newcastle find themselves 2 goals up with half an hour left. Then comes a really breathtaking Luton recovery.
Here's Donaghy for Luton. Raddy. Chasing, battling. In the end, coming away without the ball. Fuccillo. The touch wasn't strong enough. Cartwright battling, and it's grown a bit fierce in its competitiveness at the moment. As White pushed Stein through. And that's a goal for Luton. Something for them to cheer at last, and something for Luton to bite on as they pull back the Newcastle lead now to 2-1. White playing a delicate ball through there. Stein just onside, goes round Kevin Carr and plants it into the back of the Newcastle net. Luton 1, Newcastle 2. Saunders.
of blood to the head when the ball fell to him, and his crashing drive was well wide of the mark. A mistake in the Newcastle defence. Carr could only palm it out, and Antic rattled it wide. As Fuccillo plays it forward, too firmly maybe, no. And Stein keeps the ball just in play. Antic is there, White is there, hits the crossbar with it. And Luton's so close to that equaliser they want so badly. It looked as though Stein was having trouble keeping it in play, but he just pulled it back in time. Just in play, as you could see. And White hit that against the crossbar and away. Presumably for time wasting, and I can't think that that's been the first occasion that the referee has warned him. I wouldn't have thought he would have booked him for that one isolated occasion. I would have thought he must have warned him perhaps a little earlier in the game to get a move on. At any rate, the Newcastle goalkeeper's name goes into the book, and what is more important to Luton at the moment is that they get a free kick a yard inside the Newcastle penalty area. Gives them a real chance now of cracking in a second goal. Certainly plenty in the Newcastle wall. Antic is behind it. It'll be a little touch from Horton and a little curler, I would imagine, from Antic. A crossbar again. Well, they're having none of the luck. That's White against the crossbar, and now Antic against the crossbar. How your luck goes some days. White, Turner, Stevens. Pulled it back nicely there for Wayne Turner. Played in the game for Stein. Referee again spreads his arm wide. Penalty! Horton is brought down. And Luton get a penalty. Newcastle couldn't protest more vehemently, but the referee has decided, as Horton comes in here, well, it looked as though it could well have been a penalty, and Mills has been booked. Luton have a glorious chance now without David Moss, who normally takes their penalties. The responsibility falls to Brian Stein to make it 2-2, and he does so. Well, it wasn't the best taken penalty in the world, because it was hit almost straight at the keeper, but Carr by then had dived to his right, and the ball was in the back of the net. Well, we're getting quite a finish now. Decided that was a deliberate handball, and so it's another penalty, and Stein is on a hat-trick, and Luton are on for an improbable but a very important victory. Same place and same result. Three goals to 2.
that was my first penalty for the club, and it wasn't the best struck penalty in the world. And when the second one come round, I thought, well, I can't hit it worse than I did the first, and so in the end it went in though. So it was a great feeling.
When did you last get a hat-trick?
It was last year around Christmas against Bristol Rovers, and that was my first one in the Football League. And today made it a little bit more sweeter because Newcastle are a bogey side, and we've wanted to beat them for a couple of years now because they think we're a sort of soft touch, and I think that showed them because we showed a lot of fighting spirit today, I thought.
You're really on your way now to the First Division, don't you think?
I think that's sewn it up now. I don't think anyone will catch us now.
So a quite magnificent 3-2 win, and it looked as if you may have had some pretty harsh words at half-time to prompt that kind of recovery.
Well, the important thing there was that we were still in a very good position in the league. Newcastle had to win the game, and we felt that with a 1-0 lead, they just may try and protect it. What actually happened was they took a further goal off us, but it left us enough time if we were good enough to come back, which we did in style.
And that was the message you were trying to get over at half-time, no doubt?
Well, you've always got to learn to be patient, and you mustn't panic if you get behind. 90 minutes can be a long time, and if you're good enough, you've got long enough to prove it.
How would you then sum up your style of managership and the way you handle the players?
Well, I think it's very difficult to really put a tag on it. I would say firm but fair. I think I've got to learn to count to 10. I have learned to count to 10. In fact, I have to count beyond 10 at times. I try and give everyone a fair chance. It is very difficult at the end of the day to be scrupulously fair with every single person. You can only play 11 players on the Saturday. But I would love to think that people left Luton and said they treated me well.
Well, we've already seen one outstanding example of the fighting qualities of the team. Another came a week after that Newcastle game at Rotherham. Luton trailing by 2-1 when this happened.
Can Luton come back, though? They certainly have the quality. Money shot. Well, if that isn't quality, I don't know what is.
Richard Money, a spectacular goal just 48 hours after completing his transfer from Liverpool. Then, with seconds left, another Luton man becomes a hero. Reserve goalkeeper Alan Judge faces a Rotherham penalty.
If Jerry Gow can score from the spot here, Rotherham are still in the hunt for promotion. If he misses, their chance of going into the First Division could be gone. Some Rotherham players can't even look. And he saved it! Luton feel that justice is done. And it's impossible not to feel sympathy for Gow and Hughes. There are only seconds remaining. A fan is on the pitch. And Luton's standing goalkeeper, Alan Judge, has made the most important save of his career.
Yes, Alan is a man for all seasons, has always come in when he's had to and performed adequately, has a good future in front of him, he's a very hard worker, and I would expect Alan to do very well in the seasons ahead.
And of course you had tremendous support up there at Rotherham with you. I'm sure all the players and yourself would like to pay tribute here to the support you've received over the last season.
Yes, there's no better feeling than to be surrounded by a cavalcade of cars when you're travelling to away matches and feel that you're not isolated, that they're part of you and one feels part of them and you're in it together. It's a kind of a camaraderie, and we've enjoyed the support that we've received and we've appreciated that support, and we hope it continues, but we're very aware that if the football is good, then the support will continue.
And from your point of view, the manager's point of view, the support of the board also all important.
Yes, it's very nice to work for fair people, that to give you a chance, that are understanding, and at Luton Town at this particular moment in time, we have a board which is second to none.
And the future looks good as well, with the junior hatter scheme really flourishing. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the ideal and the idea is very good, that we help make it easier for youngsters to get involved with the club, to come to the ground in safety, to watch what we call entertaining football without any hassle on the field. Our disciplinary record is something we're awfully proud of. And these kids go away and they spread the gospel, and hopefully they come back, and they are literally the supporters of the future, which will keep the club in good hands.
Who's going to take the First Division by storm? Who's going to go to Findlay? Who are the champions?
And for next season, it's a First Division future for those young fans, for promotion came with victory over Shrewsbury on April the 29th. London Weekend's on-the-ball cameras were there for a match in which Luton were held 1-1 up until the last 12 minutes. Then came a burst of Luton attacking that really started the promotion celebrations. Ricky Hill, who'd gone into the match carrying an ankle injury, puts Luton back in front 2-1. 2 minutes later came a fine individual goal from Steve White. Steve White's 18th goal of the season, 10 minutes from time, a goal set up by David Moss. So 3-1, and Luton was surely promoted when, with the celebrations going on all round the ground, Steve White returned the compliment for Moss to make it 4-1 with an equally fine goal. So Luton were back in the First Division, and it was time for the party to start in earnest, with the crowd on the pitch and the players up in the stand.
That is why I came here, because I thought we got a chance, and we've done it tonight. We've proved that we're a good side, I think. You know, not probably tonight, but throughout the season. And we've scored a lot of goals, a lot of good goals, and I think we've gave a lot of pleasure to people. And, you know, it's nice to do things in a nice way. I heard somebody shout, come on, let's do it in style, and we scored a couple of goals just after that, so it was nice.
And Brian Horton back in the First Division at the age of 30, what is it?
33, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it as much as these lads, you know. It's the only place to play, and I'm looking forward to it tremendously. I think for another couple of years of my life, I think.
The work goes on, with physio John Sheldon treating the ankle of Ricky Hill, who defied injury to play.
I played against Norwich, and it was a lot worse. I thought to myself, well, if I could play in that game, no way I'm going to miss this game, you know. It's so important that we're up now, it's brilliant.
But what a smashing goal.
Yeah, that capped it all, you know. I thought, well, all night I've been a bit tentative about striking with that right foot, and the ball just come over, it just dropped me and I bodied it.
Last point for you, what's the lemonade all about?
Well, the champagne's run out, you know. I don't know what's the matter. You have to try and get some more in, Jim.
So that was Luton back in the First Division, but how important was it for you to go up as champions?
It meant everything. That was the motivation from Christmas onwards, that it wasn't good enough to go up. We wanted to go up as champions. We wanted to go up with the highest points ever. We wanted to go and score the highest goals ever. And we practically achieved everything at the end of the day. It was really a traumatic time, and maybe the celebrating, it seemed every game we were celebrating another record that had fallen. It was just a wonderful season and a wonderful memory that we should cherish forever.
The next celebration came before the last home game of the season against Barnsley. The victory against Queen's Park Rangers had confirmed that Luton would go up as champions. And the Second Division trophy had been brought from Upton Park to Kenilworth Road to prove it. After those celebrations, a 1-1 draw against Barnsley ended this historic season. The match remembered for a magnificent late equaliser by Brian Stein. The build-up skillful and direct from Kirk Stevens, and Brian Stein's finish is accurate and spectacular. Brian Stein's 21st goal of the season, and surely one of his best. The kind of goal that would make any manager look ahead confidently to life in the First Division.
It's going to be very exciting. It'll be a wonderful feeling to go to big grounds and big teams. We mustn't go in awe of anyone. We have good players ourselves. And if we're very positive in everything that we do, then there is no reason why Luton Town, in spite of its problems with its ground, its population, and all the other factors that go with present-day football, we feel we can be successful.